Okay.
Jennifer, we had some updates on this story come out
So
while we were planning the show late this afternoon. Why don't you go ahead and give us a quick update?
I feel like you're just trying to make me angry this evening. Um, I don't know. This is not good, but I'm not surprised that Chad Oates, former Seattle Seahawks offensive tackle Chad Wheeler, entered a not guilty plea in domestic violence case, and basically requested that he be able to return to his home in Hawaii rather than staying on house arrest in this area. And the judge denied that. But what I really would like to focus on here is just how brave his victim was for sitting in court with her dislocated arm in a sling and telling the judge, I do not feel safe if he is released in any way. Do I feel safe? She had a victim advocate speaking on her behalf. But the fact that she actually went into that courtroom and, sat there and watched this man plead not guilty when he literally attempted to murder her is just, I think, something that she deserves a lot of praise for, because that is a very, very difficult thing to do. So I'm not surprised at all that he pled not guilty. I'm not surprised at all that he tried to go and leave the area and go to his home in Hawaii. But he, of course, we talked last week, came out and was super apologetic on Twitter about what happened. But we also talked about how that's part of the cycle of domestic violence. People apologize, and then it's not long before they return to the same behavior. So I was very happy to see how strong and resilient she is. And I think she, again, deserves a lot of praise for going in there and sitting through that, because that is not an easy thing to do. One last thing before I close out: if anybody is experiencing domestic violence, um, there is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. There is an entire website to this. And if you go to the website, it has these protocols in place to allow you to exit the site safely, and also reminds you to clear your browser history, because the site knows, and the people that manage the site know, how difficult it is sometimes to get the information you need to leave a domestic violence situation. So yeah, these are just some additional resources for you, for anyone who might need them, or know somebody that might need them. But again, yeah, not surprised by what he did. Super impressed by her going in and saying, no, I do not feel safe.
Not a great way to start Black History Month either, because the victim in this assault is black.
Yep.
So, and one of the things that I had talked about, Jennifer, when you brought this story to us last week, is the bail at $400,000, which for an NFL player with multiple homes just is like, it's a joke, right?
Yeah. Well, his argument was basically he had nowhere else to live in the area because he'd been residing with her, which is bullshit. You can't find somewhere else to live, so you need to go to Hawaii. Yeah. But again,
World's smallest violin played just for you, bro.
I would like to take the focus on him because I don't think he's worthy of the attention, and just say again how unbelievably proud I am of this young woman for going in and sitting through that.
Absolutely brave, because many victims, especially because there's nothing that's been released. Typically, when these things happen, Jennifer, to this severity, what we generally hear, if there were other calls, we generally hear this, right? Police have been out multiple times, and we haven't heard any of this. So what we don't know is you've been suffering in silence, or was this a first time incident? And so a lot of victims, they're like, I don't want to do it. And they don't show up for the stuff. And then if you don't have a victim, it's very difficult to prosecute a crime.
Absolutely. And sometimes even if you do have a victim, it's, difficult to encourage them to prosecute. Like I said, I'm a survivor of domestic violence. There was only one incident where the cops were called. There were probably at least 100 incidences before that where the cops weren't called. Um, Domestic abusers get really good at being able to hide bruises on their victims or put them in places where they're not going to be seen in public. But the final time when the cops were actually called, it was because an assault took place in public, and he threatened to break my neck, and it took 4 men to pull him off me. So that's how it escalates. Things don't generally get to that level without some kind of prior incidences. They might have been lesser incidences to build up to that. But again, I want to take the focus off him and just say again how, really proud I am of this young woman.
Jennifer, if we try to look at these glasses half full, we have shown two very strong Black women tonight in our show.
Absolutely.
Princesses.
Yes.
Born of queens. Just, they're tough stories.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to do a brief little pause for the cause, and we'll go to our next segment.
Black Coffee is a hub for communities and a hub for meeting people, making friends, and understanding.
What Black Coffee is to me is a place to actually call home, a place where Black youth will feel welcomed, where Black families will come and feel like they're at home.
What we're trying to build is more than just coffee. Community is something that we do naturally. We know who's in the community, we know what the deficits are, and we're trying to fix that. We want to bring people together.
My hope is that the phrase grounded in excellence shows up everywhere and that it becomes a movement.
I'm looking forward to hanging out at Black Coffee with my friends and feeling safe.
Black Coffee to me means opportunity for people like me and my other friends and family to come here and do homework safely and hang out and stuff like that.
That is happening. It is happening.
Black Coffee Northwest are located in Shoreline, Washington. And they are open Monday through Saturday. And as I always say, the coffee is amazing. The merch they have is amazing. They have different food trucks or food vendors that come to, not food trucks, but different food vendors that kind of offer the full meal deal up there on Saturdays. And they seem to rotate who goes through and what's available. And yes, Jennifer, I have to bring it up again.
Yeah.
Potato scones.
Killing me.
Loving those potato scones.